Welcome to my video for the Irrlicht final demo. The first thing that I need to talk about is the terrain. The original default settings were of patch size 17, level of detail 5 and smooth factor 4. I found that setting the patch size to 9 and level of detail to 1, therefore lowering visual quality, did increase my FPS on the XP machine by about 3 frames. Keeping the smooth factor the same. The next thing that caused performance issues for the scene was the animated water. The original water had a 20 by 20 tile size and repeated it 40 times to create the plane. What I did was I changed this so that the tile size was 500 by 500 and repeated it 9 times. So it still doesn't look terrible, but it did increase my performance from 800 to 3000 FPS on my home machine. The next thing is I chose to use a skybox over a skydome. This was because my program did not use much memory. It only uses 200 megabytes, so I could afford to have the extra textures on a skydome and therefore have less polys than extra textures on the sky box and have less polys than a sky sphere would have. The next thing is view distance. I've limited the camera's view distance to 10,000 units. This basically just increased FPS from the default of 20,000. I could lower it further with a key press as well, and this just means obviously there's not as much to render in the distance, so I could get out of view of those houses and then back in, and this again just helps to increase FPS. Next I have a load of billboards. These didn't take a lot of FPS as these are all just textures such as the trees and the bushes. I have a lot of static objects as well, such as this dumpster and this trolley. Now the dumpster and the trolley are some of the higher poly ones. I also have things over there such as a campfire and these lamps. The idea was to keep the poly count low, below about 200 to increase performance. As far as buildings are concerned, I originally made these 5 over here, which were really simple shapes to keep low poly counts down, and then textured them. And then I went and found building models online. These ones are about 3,500 polys combined, and therefore they take a lot more performance hit, but I could spare it for the visual quality. The animated models on the lab PCs made a big difference. It went from about 1000 to 3000 FPS by removing them all entirely. However, on the XP machine there was barely any difference, 2 or 3 frames, so I'm not sure what the difference is there. Other than that, there is collision detection on everything. This trolley, buildings, the animated models, the lamps have collision, all those buildings over there have collision. Other than that, performance wise, there was nothing else that I don't think I did other than the terrain, water, skybox and camera, and keeping poly count down. So now I'm just going to have a quick walk around the scene just to show it off in the current lighting mode. That is it for my Irrlicht final video. Just quickly obviously summarising the performance issues and the general scene itself, so thank you for watching.